So now what we have is we have got a circular disc, and from that disc a large portion has been removed. So the only portion that is now remaining is this orange outlined portion that I'm going to shade in some color also. Maybe I'll shade it in orange color itself. So this is the portion that we have now, and this portion subtends an angle of theta at the center. So this angle is theta, and this is a uniform sector of a disk, and we need to figure out where is the center of mass of this sector of a disk. So the question is, and what we need to find out is the center of mass of this disk, this sector of a disk. So to find out the center of mass of this sector of a disk, first we will take advantage of the symmetry of the situation. We will draw one axis of symmetry here. So this axis of symmetry in this case will be a line that goes like this, maybe this green colored line, and we can take that as the x-axis itself, and we will then say that the center of mass should lie on this green colored line somewhere, that green cross. What I've done is I've just realigned this sector of a disk to look like this, such that the axis of symmetry is now the usual x-axis which we have. And what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I know the result for a part of a ring. So I'm going to break this entire sector into small portions of rings whose lengths will keep on becoming larger as I move towards the outer end from the inner end. So what do I mean? I will take a certain element like this. This is a ring element. It is a part of a ring. The next element will be this blue colored element. It is again a part of a ring. The next element will be probably this dark violet colored element, this. And for each of these elements, I will figure out where their center of mass is. And once I figure that out, I will do the integration from the center to the outer edge. So the element size will start from 0 and will go on till I get to a radius of capital R. Now that's the entire process. So let me take this orange colored element, or maybe the blue colored element. So the blue colored element is starting at some radius small r, and let me say that it has got a thickness of dr. That's how I frame my integration here. So the blue colored element has its starting point at some distance r away from the center, and it has got a small width of dr, and then I can figure out how much is this blue shaded area. The blue shaded area will be dA, and that will be I can think of it as a very thin rectangular strip if I just flatten it out, if I just straighten it out. So how much will be the length of that strip? The length of that strip will be r times theta, because theta is the total angle subtended at the center. So small r times theta is the length that I'm interested in, and then the width of the rectangle is going to be dr. So this is the small area, and so the small mass of this blue shaded portion is going to be sigma into r theta dr, where what I've done is I've assumed that there is a certain surface mass density. I don't even have to know this sigma. I don't even have to know the value of sigma. I can just use it because it is given that it's a uniform plate. So whatever the value of sigma is, it will remain same for all these rings which I have, or all these parts of rings which I have. So sigma is the surface mass density, and this dm term gives me the mass of one element, this blue element. Now where is the center of mass of this blue element? This blue element will have a center of mass that will lie on the x-axis somewhere. So x center of mass of the blue element is going to be, and we have seen the formula for that, it's going to be small r sine theta by 2 divided by theta by 2. And after I find out what is the x center of mass of this blue element, I can do the same thing for the orange element, I can do the same thing for the dark violet element, and I can do it for any other element that I wish to have. And so I can replace this blue element with a small point somewhere. So if I just show you what is happening here, I'm saying that I'm going to erase that blue element, and that blue element and this blue element will be probably shown as a point mass here, and the orange element can be replaced as then a point mass somewhere else, and this dark violet element here, it can be replaced as a point mass somewhere else here. And then I have got a series of masses all lying on the x-axis, and I have to find out their center of mass. So I know that procedure, and so what I'm going to do is x center of mass for this entire sector is going to be integral of x dm for any such small ring part like the blue part divided by integral dm, where dm is found here and x for any such random dm is found here. So what will be the numerator? The numerator will be r sine theta by 2 divided by theta by 2, that's the value of x, times dm sigma r theta dr, sigma r theta dr, and integral of all that. And the variable of integration here is small r. So the values of small r are going to vary from 0 when I will be talking about a very small chunk near the center, to capital R when I am going to talk about the last chunk, which is probably this brown colored chunk here. So I am going to get a 0 to a capital R here, and I can take some constants out. So I am going to get sine theta by 2 divided by theta by 2 multiplied by sigma theta, all that goes out. So what is left inside is this small r and this small r, so r square, and r square dr is going to give me small r cube by 3, so small r cube by 3, and the limits are going to be from 0 to r, and I know that answer now. So this is sigma theta sine theta by 2 divided by theta by 2 big R cube by 3. This is what the numerator is. Now what will the denominator turn out to? So let me look at, so here it is, integral dm, and dm is just this guy, sigma r theta dr, and denominator is going to be integral of sigma r theta dr starting from 0 to capital R. This is a pretty simple integral to do. So sigma goes out, theta goes out, r dr will give me r square by 2. So you are going to have sigma theta capital R square by 2 after integrating and applying limits. And so therefore x center of mass is going to be, in this case, now some terms I think can cancel out. What are the terms that will go away? Okay, let me just rewrite everything. So sigma theta sine theta by 2 divided by theta by 2 times r cube by 3, this is the numerator, all that divided by sigma theta r square by 2. And what am I going to get? So sigma cancels out, theta cancels out, you have r cube going with 1 r here, sorry, r square here, and 1 r will be left in the numerator. Sine theta by 2 will be as it is. This 2 will flip up, this 2 will flip up, so you will have 4 times sine theta by 2 divided by 3 theta, and all that multiplied by r. That's the final answer for any sector of a circle, where theta again has to be inserted in radians. So please keep in mind that this will give you the final answer for the center of mass. Now one interesting case is what happens if you have a half a disk, let us say. So what happens if you have a semicircular disk? So if you have a semicircular disk like this, where now if I say disk, I mean that everything here is shaded. So this entire thing has mass. Where is the center of mass? Now the angle that it is going to subtend at the center is going to be pi. So here I have to insert pi by 2. Sine of pi by 2 is going to be 1. So 4r by 3 pi. And in this case, because y-axis is the axis of symmetry, I'm going to get the y center of mass. So for this kind of a semicircular disk, I'm going to get y center of mass as 4r by 3 pi. And this is approximately around 0.42 times r. So this is less than halfway across the radius. So if this cross here represents r by 2, then this dot here may be the center of mass, slightly before that from the center. And then I think you can do it easily for 1/4 of a disk and the other 1/4 of a disk. You know that exactly same ideas can be used, which we were using for a semicircular ring. So if you have 1/4 of a disk, there will be an axis of symmetry. For 1/4 of a disk, the axis of symmetry will be a line making an angle of 45 degrees with the x-axis, like this black line perhaps. And the center of mass should lie somewhere on that black line, so maybe that black cross here. And you know the height of this guy won't change, so this guy should be 4r by 3 pi still. That means you have the x coordinate also as 4r by 3 pi, and that means that the distance from the center to that point is, so if I call this point a C for 1/4 of a disk and the center as O, then the distance OC is going to be 4r by 3 pi times root 2.